Hey everyone, I'm LC Gamer, and welcome back to Deathmark. In the last video, we, faced off against the, cannon soldier. And now it's time to, deal with the aftermath. I turned to see Banshee in the middle of the road, staring intently at me. What's wrong? I remember now. His eyes are as wide as saucers. I forgot because of the mark, but I've met you before. What? What do you mean? Well, let me think. He scratches his chin. I know his memories are probably all a mess, having just gotten them back, but I don't have time to wait for him. Ah, yes. We first met 5 years ago, and then again 10 days ago. I feel like I've been struck by lightning. I first arrived at Kujo Mansion 10 days ago. That means I met him before I lost my memories. I need to know, who in the world am I? I couldn't say. I wasn't interested in asking your name, and you didn't give it. Then tell me what you do know. Tell me about myself. Please. Okay. I owe you for the food, so ask. What should I ask about? Let's go with the obvious. 5 years ago. You showed up at the shelter, wanted to know about the Heavenly Buddha project, gave me food. Huh? Actually, you were more focused on the Kujo family than the cannon soldier. Interesting. Why did we talk about them? The head at the time was majorly involved in the project. He was famous for his spiritual power, so the army asked him to help. He loaned them a number of his family's prized sacred treasures. You really zeroed in on that bit. You know what exactly the army got? Yeah, the shelter had a list. A mirror, a chisel, Buddha statues, cursed objects, and holy talismans. They were all returned to the family. Okay. Interesting. Which means they're all in the mansion now. You kept popping by a few times until one day you just didn't. I only saw you next 10 days ago. Next is 10 days ago. I just seen the cannon soldier, and you can bet I booked it out of the manhole. I ran into you on the street. Had you treat me to food to celebrate. Thanks for that, by the way. Banshee's talking about the person I was before I lost my memories. It's weird to hear about myself like this. You'd mentioned you'd been overseas. Interesting. Overseas, huh? You'd only come back recently, about a month ago. Oh, and that's when I learned of the mark. You told me about it. It slipped my mind until just now. By that time, was my right arm... Yeah, it had the mark. You were acting all odd, though. You'd go to remember something, then stumble over the words. The curse was probably in the late stages. In fact, I'd completely forgotten my name and passed a few hours after that. By the by, I've got something to tell you. This here Banshee Ito is of much nobler character than regular folk. That's why I lead a detached life, away from the world's vulgarities. What are you trying to say? I could be crazy, desperate, but I'd never shame my dear departed mom or divine providence. You understand? No, you lost me. I'm saying I'd never resort to stealing. even dying of hunger. Here, these are yours. He pulls out a wristwatch and a wallet. Each looks like an antique. They're inlaid with subtle details, subtle designs. You forgot them at the restaurant. Let me see them. I grab them both and rush to open the wallet. But there's no ID inside. There was no driver's license or company card with an ID in it when you got it? Don't ask me. You said you forgot your wallet somewhere and lost it. It was probably in there. Oh. I look at what else is in the wallet. Bills, coins, and a number of familiar business cards. Saya Kujo Spirit Healer. Ah, those things. You tried to give me one. Told me to go there if I remembered anything. But I gave it back. I don't make a habit of carrying useless stuff. Saya Kujo's card was in my pocket when I first arrived at Kujo Mansion. It must have been the one Banshee returned. There's no doubt about it. I lost all my memories after I met Banshee. I've asked everything I want to know, but something's still bugging me. Did I say anything about the mark when you saw me 10 days ago? Well, I was so focused on eating that I wasn't paying full attention. Sorry. Are you kidding? Oh yeah, you said the same thing as Hiru about the cannon soldier. There's no way a human head on a statue will make it move. But it did actually move. That's what I thought too. And then, you said something strange. What did I say? You said what happened 50 years wasn't because of the project. It was all because of her. Her? That's not all. You said she gave you the mark, that she loved watching you lose your memories and feared death. You made her kick the bucket once, but she came back to life. You said you needed to do the same thing done 50 years ago to get rid of her. My heart wants to beat out of my chest. I can feel sweat running down my face. There's no way I can keep calm. Before I lost my memories, I'd known who had cursed me with the mark. Hey, old man. Who's she? Did I tell you? I wanted to know, too, so I asked. But you couldn't answer me. I don't think you were trying to hide it, you just honestly didn't remember. Was that because of the mark? Well, that's about all I can tell you. Yashiki, we should get going soon. Go? Where? I'll tell you in the car. I'm real tired of standing. I'd like to sit for a bit. There's no point arguing here. I'll just get it out of him once we're in the car. New info was added to the spirit file. My past self. Well, that's, good. I'm getting some info about my past. Nope. The mansion's out of the way. Banshee climbs into the back seat of the car. His heavy scent fills the enclosed space. I can finally catch my breath. Now then, driver, take us to the Force by H Castle. Should I even ask? Excuse me. I drive down the familiar road. All lights along the way are strangely green. We reach our destination without me having to slow down the car once. The engine chugs along. I feel the wheels of fate turning like those on the car I'm riding in. 10 days ago, I promised, in exchange for you buying me an extra order of almond jelly. Oh, that just does not sound appeasing to me, almond jelly. If you did forget everything, I'd take you to H Shrine. Sounds like I prepared for everything. But if I was that careful, why didn't I leave myself a clue? Why prepare if I was just going to forget? Did the curse progress faster than expected? So there wasn't time. Or did someone get rid of it? But if I had business at H Shrine, why didn't I go there while I still had my memories? Something about timing. Waiting for magic summer cleaning or to clear away impurity. Suddenly my old self echoes in my head. I speak the words out loud slowly as realization dawns. The summer purification rites. They're rites held at shrines to exorcise evil. On the last day of June, you pass through woven reeds to cleanse yourself. I was trying to use that ritual to exorcise the impurity. Ah, gotcha! Luckily, today's the 1st of July, so the rites, or whatever, are done. Should be no problem now. Exercise the impurity. Huh. What kind of impurity was I trying to cleanse? The more I learn, the less I understand. My previous self is like a complete stranger to me. Oh boy. This is gonna get hairy. Well, how many times have I come to this forest now? Too many. The creepy arch, thick trees look the same as always. You know where H Shrine is, yeah? Lead the way. You've never been there? First I heard of it was 10 days ago. Yay. Banshee and I push through the vegetation and make our way down the beast trail. We pass under the stone torii gate. And finally arrive at the desolate H Shrine. The few headless Buddha statues that are left shine in the light of the flashlight. So the statues used to in the project were stolen from here. Yeah, that's right. Is it really true the statues are connected to the mark somehow? I have considered the possibility that the mark was caused by their divine wrath. But 10 days ago... You said what happened 50 years ago wasn't because of the project. It was all because of her. This curse I've been following this whole time. Then at some point I had to have been fed some huge lie. But what could it be? A shudder runs through me at the thought. It feels like I'm looking into the depths of hell. You said 10 days ago that altar holds something important. Something about needing to keep it here to exorcise the impurity. I approach the small altar and... He approaches the small altar and puts his hands on the sliding door. Huh? What's going on here? The thing's empty. Don't ask me. It was already gone when I was here earlier. Well, that's darn weird. You said there was a cloth pouch. What was inside? A small fist-sized statue? A Neji Butsu or something? It was the Go Shintai for the shrine. The Koju head used it in the shelter to stop the mess 50 years ago. And again, it's the Kujo family. They must have strong ties to the mark. Well, this is about all I can do for you. At least it was enough to pay off for the dessert. We should head back soon. Right. I'm still unsure about what my old self was thinking, but it's clear whatever plan I had didn't work. Where did the Neji Butsu go? It's not a ninja. Read it properly, thank you. On the way back, I feel reluctant to go. I keep turning to look toward the shrine. Each time I do, Banshee hurries me on to the forest entrance. Well, this is where we part ways. You're not going to ride back with me? I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a bit carsick on the way here. Flat roads were fine, but the curves and the hills did me in. Just got a nice meal. I'd hate to throw it up, so I'll walk back. But it's pretty far from here. Kids are such wimps these days. When I was young, I used to walk across the Himalayas all the time. This ain't nothing. If you say so. His laugh is loud enough for the whole forest to hear. He waves and leaves me alone. Okay. Once he's out of sight, I get into the car. Back to the mansion. Well, I pull out of the deserted parking lot and drive back to the mansion. As I count the streetlights pass by, I go over everything Banshee told me. 50 years ago in the shelter, the cannon soldier went berserk, but it wasn't because of the army's experiments. It was her. The army was unable to stand up to the threat of her and the soldier, but the Kujo family head used the Neji Butsu to settle everything. However, she still exists in this time period. She was the one who gave me my mark. Before I lost my memories, I was planning on using the Neji Butsu like they did before. I left it at a shrine so it could be cleansed of impurities. But somewhere along the line, it went missing. The past me probably couldn't have predicted that would happen. I'm almost back at Kujo Mansion. I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing that again for some reason. As my drive comes to an end, I focus on what the most important detail is. That's right. Who is she? Who she is. I have a hunch about her identity, but I can't be sure yet. And that definitely proves that she was there. 50 years ago, she made the cannon soldier move down in the shelter. The Kujo family's head sealed her. They would have brought her to the mansion. The sacred objects for the project, of which she was one, were returned to the Kujos. I grip the steering wheel tighter. If there were any way to defeat her, it just has to be in the mansion. I don't have to eat solid food, but the fragments of my memories are whispering to me. The entrance doesn't look any different. My mark burns. The sharp pain nearly brings me to my knees. It seems she has no intention of hiding her presence any longer. New info was added to the spirit file. Pursuit of the truth. And I think I will make a jump from this save file to another, so that way you guys can see one of the multiple endings. Because apparently there's 2 endings to the game. Well, here goes nothing. Alright, we're back on the other, now on the other save file, with our, well, everyone that has died is on this save file. We're missing. So, there we have that, and it's time to talk to whoever I need to talk to. Hello, Mary.
また会えましたね。
Yes, we meet again. A little surprising, though. Although that cushion kind of gave it away. It had the same design as your chair here. Mary's voice is soft. I know now. Behind those words is hidden an intense lust for blood. You came back to life rather quickly. You gave me nearly a whole day, more than enough time. I admit that Rabbit's attack surprised me, but unexpected events can themselves be rather enjoyable. When I had brought Mary to H Shrine, we caught sight of the rabbit there. Might have suspected Mary's true nature. That rabbit, its great love for you pushed it into recklessness. What was that rabbit really? Determine that for yourself. Who are you? Know that, and the answer will come. Though it is impossible so long as you bear the mark I gave you. Mary gave me the mark? I had a hunch, but hearing it from her lips fills me with dread. Just what are you trying to accomplish? Get the voices right here. Thank you. And dragging the living to the depths of despair before killing them. I believe I explained that it is a spirit's utmost desire and joy. And I had your cooperation with achieving that. Cooperation? Cooperate? That's ridiculous. Oh, have you not realized yet? You did bring those pathetic mark bearers directly to the spirits, did you not? Yeah, I guess I did. They feared the spirit's existence, trembled in the face of death. The brief joy of their survival only to be crushed like miserable ants. I savored the taste of that fear and despair, most delicious. You had all of us help out, just to terrify the mark bearers even more? Clearly, I could have waited for the curses to complete. I only wanted them dead. Yeah, that is true. But you are sadistic, aren't you? That is not the only lie. Mark bearers must stay in small groups. Do not contact outsiders. All my instructions were to drive you into a state of emergency. Not once did you doubt me. I can see that. But she's telling me all of this because she wants me terrified with how helpless the situation I find myself in is. Oh, true. She is being rather cryptically terrifying. I'm frozen in place, and I know my face must be as pale as death. She must be loving this. Don't tell me you created all of those spirits just to accomplish that. Indeed. When Lady Christie believed divine wrath was the cause of the mark, I had never been more amused. Her foolishness was so delightful. I just had to come along with you. So you lied. Of course. How could a pile of broken statues possibly do anything? I could be imagining it, but I feel like she hesitated for a moment there. 50 years ago, I was sealed away by the head of the Kuju family. I'm gonna get it right one of these times. I awoke here 5 years ago. At the time, I was still unable to speak and communicate, but it seems my awakening alone caused a number of ripples. Those who died unfortunate deaths on cursed land became monstrous spirits. The H elementary abuse, the honeybee mass suicide, Psycho's assault and suicide. They all happened 5 years ago. I finally regained my full power a little over a month ago. Then the Buddha statue connected to me 50 years ago began moving. The woman killed by the statue was also influenced by my power. It must be the cannon soldier in Zukawa. Zukawa believed it was divine. It was a divine oracle from the soldier when it really had been Mary. Ugh. She did as the great Azura said and transformed herself into Miss Zu. Once my strength returned, I again bestowed my power on spirits. It connects humans to me and manipulates them into a panic. The mark. I know you've been toying with us, but, well, was there really a need to make us be connected to you in some way? Of course. By being in direct contact with you, I could taste your fear. Even now. Are you scared of me, Lord Yashiki? Yes? No? I'm gonna stay silent. So you are terrified to the extent that it steals your speech. Huh. Her porcelain face cracks. Ever since you declared that you would fight the mark, I have waited eagerly for this day. Huh? Over the past 10 days, I have tasted your fear through the mark. Thick and syrupy, as sweet as honey. Each savored morsel made me want to smash you to pieces. But I waited. I am not so foolish as to kill a goose that lays golden eggs. But I cannot take it anymore. Like crushing a ripe fruit and sipping its juices, I want to break you down and savor your sweet fear. Shit. The mark is dyed a deep crimson. A few minutes left until death closes in. My thoughts blur together suddenly. What happens to a mark bearer right before dawn? I've seen it many times. So is that what's happening to me now? Lord Yashiki, wait for me. I'll kill you. I can hear Mary stand up over by the sofa. At this rate, the rabbit's fate will be mine too. Have to run away. Check within the red in my room. Something whispers in my ear. That's right, that voice. But what does my room mean? Focus. What does that voice... Who does that voice belong to? Yasuoka said... She said it was... someone who loved me. Think... Only person... Mary's coming closer. Where should I run? The only place that comes to mind is... Saya's room. I sprint at full speed up the stairs and fly into Saya's room. Much like the entrance hall, it's dark. The voice said, check within the red in my room. Is something there? But where should I look? The floor. Red, the blood. Saya Kujo's bloodstain is still on the floor. It's obviously dry by this point at the time. There might be something lying on top of it. I can't be sure as it's too dark. Nothing was there the last time I was here. Picking it up, I discover that it's a small pouch. Inside is a hard, thin object. I move over to the moonlight to see it better. It's a small Buddha statue. It can't be. Is this the Neji Butsu? It seems to be stained with blood, and I get an ominous feeling from it. The impurity hasn't been exorcised yet. I instinctively know the instant I see it. My mind is suddenly flooded with all of my memories of the Neji Butsu, one after another. 50 years ago, the head of the Kuju family used this to steal Mary's power. He put the Neji Butsu inside her to seal her. Then about a month ago, someone took it out. That person was me. Because of that, Mary regained her power. The Neji Butsu in my hand looks exactly as it did back then, full of impurity. Impurity that's built up from stealing Mary's power for 50 years. To cleanse it, I left the Neji Butsu at the uncontaminated H Shrine. It would take time to exorcise all of the impurity. It's already July. The summer purification rites is over. So why is it still impure? The object the rabbit had in its mouth, could it have been carrying the pouch then, instead of the master key? Then the Neji Butsu was taken away from H Shrine before the beginning of July. Maybe the rabbit saw Mary by the shrine and was scared that she would find it. So it had no choice but to steal it away. Interesting rabbit. The door to the adjacent room opens. Mary must be looking for me, but she can sense the presence of the mark bearers. What's going on? Wait. Is it possible that Saya's blood is protecting me? Bring it to where I met my end. The voice whispers in my ear again. If this isn't where the voice's owner died, they must have met their end elsewhere. There's only one other place. While Mary is in the room next door, I sprint down to the entrance hall. I make a beeline to Mary's sofa in the spot where the rabbit died. The voice that spoke to me and helped me every time a spirit was closing in. If Saya was working through anything, it must have been that rabbit. Sensing something, I look down at my hand. Cool. The Neji Butsu's impurity is gone. Is this what you've been telling me, Saya? I speak to the departed woman who's guided me as I struggle without memories. Put the Neji Butsu, the source of the doll's curse. Press it to the black mark. Okay. Then the whispers stop. Well, if you say so, I will do it. The floorboards creak ominously. I raise my head to the staircase, rising into the darkness before me. A dark figure stands on the landing. I found you. What's with all the marks? The mark scorches me. My head goes blank. Mary's coming closer. My body won't listen to me. Ah, Lord Yashiki. Mary closes her hands around my neck. She's trying to kill me. I squeeze the Neji Butsu and the fog that's impeding my thoughts lifts. It's still a struggle to think. I should be able to move my arm now. Put the Neji Butsu on the source of the curse. I only have one chance. Where should I stick the Neji Butsu? Well, that should be obvious. It's her right arm. I managed to drag my impossibly heavy arm and stick the Neji Butsu on Mary's right arm. She she's hiding it. And I'm sure that's where the black mark was. Yeah! You even got marks bloom on Mary, one after another. They're all the color of blood. It's like they're the curses of those she killed. Well, she did kill a lot of my friends throughout this entire adventure. At least for this ending. Mary shatters into dust. Did I really do it? I hesitantly look down at my right arm. The mark is gone. I did it. I finally did it. I have to say it out loud to convince myself. A victory at the expense of Saya and the mark. Bearers' lives, I can't claim it's all over, but there's no harm being relieved for now. The fog clouding my head clears away. My memories slowly return to me. I look around the dimly lit hall again. I know this mansion well, because I'm... The clock on the second floor begins chiming wildly like it did 10 days ago. When I make my way to it, it stops, almost as if it has a will of its own. That's right, this grandfather clock. I think a skilled ancestor of the Kuju family crafted it. That one chisel may have been used to make it. That's right, inside this clock. I open the door and stick my hand inside. My fingers brush something hard. Taking it out, I realize it's a voice recorder. I press the play button. This on? This is Masamune Kuju. It's a man's voice, a voice I know all too well. It's my voice. I decided to leave this record behind in case something should happen. That doll may dispose of any files or documents. I'm banking on her overlooking a piece of technology. As I listen, I start to remember recording this. I'd done it right before I received the mark from Mary. Now, where should I begin? It started 5 years ago, 2 years after I became Kuju family head. My sister Saya and I found the doll in a wood box while sorting the warehouse. The moment I broke the seal and saw her, I could sense something sinister. But it took a while longer to fully understand what she truly is. If only there had been records. But great-grandfather who sealed her didn't leave any before his early death. Because of that, his descendants weren't told about the doll. I managed to learn the doll had been loaned to an army lab during the war. A strange old man who lived in an underground shelter told me. Then I went overseas to try to get more information on the doll. But I got into an accident while away and was presumed missing, so Saya became the new family head. wasn't able to contact her until after she had inherited the title. It wasn't something worth contesting, so I explained everything and had her keep up the facade that I was missing. Public record still stated Masamune Kuju was very much alive, of course. I couldn't have used my passport or license otherwise. I'm off topic, sorry. I only just returned to the country last week. Other psychics abroad all agreed it would be bad to leave the doll be. A Neji Butsu inside the doll still suppressed its cursed power, but I realized that it was almost at its limit. If I left it alone, it would crumble. Then it would be impossible to suppress the cursed power or the doll. That was worse. That was the worst case scenario. But what was it? But what was to be done? The answer I came up with was to remove the Nejibutsu from the doll temporarily. Its impurity would be cleansed after a month, stored in a pure area, and then I'll place it back in the doll. If I succeed, the doll's power will be sealed for a few more decades. But the problem is that 1 month. I have no idea what kind of curse will be released when the doll's unsealed. I'll do what I can to prevent disasters, but my power can't compare to the Nejibutsu. I can't guarantee anything. There may be victims again, like the tragedy 50 years ago, but this is a necessary evil. It must be done in order to prevent even more people from falling victim. After this, I'll disassemble the doll and remove the Nejibutsu. I pray everything goes according to plan, and the worst of evils is avoided. I hope this record isn't needed. But if the one listening to this has a loved one who's fallen victim to the curse, then I'm very sorry. The recording ends there. Damn it. I clenched my fist so hard my nails dig into my palms. Yes, the voice on the tape was mine, but I'm furious with it. I didn't know that person at all. The mark has claimed so many victims over the past month, like the mark bearers. I even lost my little sister, Saya. Was she just another inevitable victim that the voice spoke of? I can't forgive him. Ever since I lost my memories, I've lived as Kazu Yashiki. My blood boils at what Masamune Kuju did. And that is the end of Chapter 5. And I think I will leave it here for now, and we'll pick this up in the next video with the epilogue for this ending. So until then, see you guys.